Well, Facebook is trying out a new revenue idea that you probably won't like. At least I know I don't like it. We've got Jeff Fowler, who's been reporting on this story. He joins us now from San Francisco. Jeff, this story is fascinating to me, and you found this out, and you quote someone from New Zealand. You're in San Francisco. How do you find a story where part of the lead is in New Zealand?
Well, as you said, I'm here at the Wall Street Journal's Facebook IPO World Headquarters here in San Francisco. And here we can talk to folks all around the world. And one of the things we've been noticing over the past couple of weeks is that Facebook suddenly seems to have a whole lot of new ideas for how we could make money. And it's been, and especially last week, unveiling a lot of them as sort of trial balloons. We could think of this sort of as a spaghetti test. They're trying out to see, well, might this work? Could we get a little revenue from customers here or there? And one of the most interesting ones happens to be taking place just in New Zealand. So down under, what they're doing is they're giving Facebook users the opportunity to pay 2 New Zealand dollars, so slightly less than 2 US dollars, to make sure that a post gets seen by their friends. Now, for people who aren't regular Facebook users, you may not realize that when you post something on Facebook, sometimes your friends see it and sometimes they don't. Kind of depends on this kind of black box algorithm that Facebook has that decides whether or not that post is good enough to show to certain friends. But now for $2 in New Zealand, you can pay to make sure that they see it. And this is really interesting because this is really one of the first times we've seen Facebook try out an idea where users pay Facebook directly for a premium service on the site. You may remember they've long promised that Facebook is free and always will be. So this scooches right up to the edge of that idea.
I'm so skeptical of this, Jeff. You mentioned spaghetti test. I know when I tried that at home, my mother really didn't like that at all. Don't throw the spaghetti on the wall. How do you think users are going to react to this?
When we spoke to folks in New Zealand who'd been given the offer, we mostly got people scratching their heads. Interestingly, because they feel like maybe their posts about their cat or what they had for lunch maybe aren't important enough to really want to make sure that all their friends see it. But you could see some use cases where people might be interested in it. For example, if someone's having a garage sale this weekend, or if someone lost their cat actually and is looking for it. That might be a use case. Also, perhaps more annoyingly, celebrities might use it. A lot of them have friends and use their social media channels like Facebook to spread messages for causes or brands that they're endorsing. And maybe if they could pay to make sure everyone saw their messages, they'd like that. And remember, Facebook already offers this sort of service to advertisers. This is one of their latest and greatest ideas for marketers on something they call Reach Generator, where basically marketers can pay to make sure that a certain number of their fans or followers on Facebook see their marketing messages up to 75% of the time. So you basically pay per user for that privilege. So Facebook's just bringing that to its users, they say.
They say. Okay, I'm still skeptical of whether this is going to fly. But tell us about the App Store, which is another thing they're doing.
Yep, another thing that we got last week was an app store. You're familiar with app stores on the iPhone or Android devices. Amazon has one. Everybody has one. They can make a decent amount of money. Facebook has one now too. And just like the iPhone App Store, they will be reviewing the apps and letting people rate them. And then also, interestingly, you can buy apps. Now, for a long time, Facebook has had a business where they take a cut of all in-app purchases, 30%, and that is the relationship between Zynga and Facebook, for example. But now you can actually directly buy the apps going forward, and that's a whole new line of business for Facebook. They're selling software.